Chapter 6. Epilogue, Fear and Legacy. By late August 1916, the beaches of New Jersey began to refill. Children squealed once more in the surf, men floated lazily on the breakers, and women waded in with careful smiles. Yet something had changed. For many, the joy of the ocean was tinged with unease. Parents watched more closely. Lifeguards stared longer into the swells. The Ingleside Hotel at Beach Haven still hosted its evening dances, but older guests whispered to one another about the Vanson boy. In Spring Lake, townsfolk spoke in hushed tones of Charles Bruder, the bell captain whose legs had been torn away. And in Matawan, the grief lingered deepest. Flowers lay on Lester Stillwell's grave well into autumn. Stanley Fisher's name was spoken with reverence, his sacrifice told and retold as an act of noble courage. The shark, or sharks, had been slain, but the fear they left behind did not vanish so easily. In the months that followed, debate raged. At the American Museum of Natural History, ichthyologists who had once declared sharks harmless found themselves besieged by reporters. Was it truly a man-eater? Journalists demanded. Yes, some admitted at last. A great white shark is capable of such attacks. Others still resisted. One rogue fish, they insisted, a freak event, not to be repeated. But the public was not convinced. Ordinary Americans had seen too much blood spilled. The image of a great beast haunting the Jersey coast had taken root in the national imagination. The newspapers, for their part, had fanned the flames. Bold headlines, grotesque illustrations, and breathless accounts had sold countless copies. They dubbed the creature the Jersey man-eater and likened it to a wolf of the sea. Editorials thundered that the ocean itself had turned hostile. Sermons warned of the dangers of arrogance in the face of nature. Even politicians spoke of it, promising safety to seaside towns. For weeks, the shark eclipsed even war in Europe as the subject of conversation. And though the frenzy waned with autumn, the memory of those headlines lingered. Before 1916, Americans had seen the ocean as playground, bountiful and benign. Sharks were little more than curiosities in aquariums or exotic tales from foreign waters. After 1916, everything was different. The sea had shown its teeth. Bathing culture, which had blossomed in the early 20th century, was suddenly shadowed by suspicion. Lifeguards drilled new vigilance. Fishermen spoke more often of dangerous fins. Parents warned their children. The idea of the man-eating shark was now part of American consciousness, a phrase that conjured dread. The decades rolled on, but the story was never forgotten. In the 1960s, journalists revisited it as part of seaside lore. In the 1970s, novelist Peter Benchley stumbled across accounts of the attacks while researching. Out of those bloody weeks in New Jersey came the seed of his book Jaws, a tale of a great white terrorizing a coastal town. When Jaws reached theaters in 1975, it reignited the same primal fear that had gripped America in 1916. Audiences gasped at the giant shark rising from the depths, at the helpless swimmers caught in its jaws. Beach attendants dropped across the country that summer, echoing the panic of 60 years before. Few realized that the fictional monster had a real ancestor, one that had once prowled the very waters of New Jersey. Even today, the truth remains clouded. Some argue that it was indeed a rogue great white that swam unnaturally close to shore, striking in a frenzy. Others believe more than one shark was involved, perhaps even a bull shark capable of surviving in fresh water, explaining the horror at Matawan Creek. Science has never reached full agreement, but the people of 1916 did not need consensus. They had seen the blood. They had buried their dead. As autumn came, the leaves along Matawan Creek turned gold and drifted into the water, covering the place where Lester Stillwell had vanished. The townspeople tried to return to normal life. Children walked to school past the quiet banks. Men went back to their trades. Yet every time the wind rustled the reeds or the water rippled strangely, the memory returned. For in Matawan and in Beach Haven and in Spring Lake, The summer of 1916 would never truly fade. The ocean had shown its hunger, and the people who witnessed it would never look at the water the same way again. The Jersey Shore shark attacks of 1916 were over, but their shadows stretched on, a reminder that the sea is not ours to tame.
Beast Beneath the Surface, the 1916 Jersey Shore Shark Attacks. Written by Stephen J. Pickering, read by Robert Bell Jones. This is a listen and live audio production.